Well, I will just start by saying good afternoon to everybody, and I know that others will probably jump in to the Zoom here as we get going. And as you just noticed, I did go ahead and hit the record button. So for anybody who wasn't able to make it on this short notice, we'll have this recorded and posted with the additional information that we've got on the website that I'll share with you in just a little bit. I wanted to start by just thanking everybody for their flexibility on short notice. I'm sure it was a crazy Monday as students get pretty wound up for weather, as we all know. So just appreciate the flexibility and being able to jump on the Zoom. I was able to visit a couple buildings last week, and it would absolutely be my preference to do this in person. But I appreciate, just the ability to go through Zoom so that you get the information that you need to stay informed as we work through the budget prioritization process. I'd also start just by emphasizing that nobody wants to be in this situation. There's not a person in the district that wishes that we were not getting ready for these meetings this week and looking at the next 6 weeks. There's not a person that wishes we were doing that. I guess I'm talking like in in the double negative, more or less than I would. I don't want to be doing that. And I know none of our administrators want to be in this situation, none of our directors. It's very challenging, difficult conversations because ultimately every person working for Fairfield Schools is valuable, and the work that they do is so greatly appreciated. And so when we're looking at any type of a reduction or a budget correction, it leads to times of uncertainty. And that's ultimately why I'm here today to try to answer those questions, ease those concerns, and provide you with the information as we are moving forward through the process. At the end of the day, I also want to start our conversation by just emphasizing and reiterating that while we move forward, it's more about that moving forward and not looking back. But it's also important to note that we're not in this situation necessarily because mistakes were made. As a system of education, where we're here to serve students, when we have money, we want to spend that money to provide the most enriching and the best learning environment that we can for our students day in and day out. And then as our financial health changes, as our financial circumstances changes, we've got to adjust. And so ultimately we're in that period of adjustment right now. And I'm going to try to share my screen to kind of walk through both where we've been and then where we're going in the next several weeks. So when you look at this flow chart, and I'll show you here in just a little bit, where all of these resources are available on the district website, we find ourselves right here at this first bigger green arrow, where we've put together our prioritization committee. So over the last several weeks, about a month and a half, our district administrators and our directors have been working very hard to turn our budget into, or to communicate our budget, all the things that we're spending our revenues on into budget packages. And so those budget packages are going to be available publicly on Wednesday as we get ready for our budget prioritization committee to meet starting on Wednesday night. So that's a process that's kind of outlined here in the middle of the graphic that will take place over the next several weeks. And I want to emphasize that the purpose of the committee, those participants who are joining the committee or who will be a part of the committee are not burdened with determining a reduction or ultimately what would be cut or what would potentially be cut down the line. At the end of the day, I'm seeking that feedback as the superintendent, seeking that feedback from a range of perspectives on priorities in the district so that I can use those to inform my recommendation to the board. And at the end of the day, it's the board's responsibility to determine how much to reduce our spending by and how many positions that would entail. And so kind of the way that process funnels is that I'm seeking all of these various perspectives for feedback. I'll use that to inform my decision or my recommendation that I would put forward to the board. And then the board at the end of the day is elected to make that decision. And so they'll be able to ask great questions and deliberate at the board table to ultimately decide what stays above the reduction line or what would end up below the reduction line. Another way to look at this same process, and again, these will all be posted, and they are, some of them are already on the website. This timeline just outlines the process that we've been through so far. We really started having more serious conversations around our financial health after our certified annual report, our CAR, was submitted in September. It became apparent that we had some considerations to make, and we started working with the board to determine the processes to use and what that timeline would look like. And so what you see kind of leading up to right here where we're at January 3rd through the 9th, that's last Wednesday and Thursday. And then, like I said, was supposed to be today and tomorrow, visiting the buildings to kind of review this process and make sure that staff were aware of what was on the horizon. We do have a work session scheduled for tomorrow night with Matt Glaspie, who will be here to talk about all the implications with tax levies, as well as specifically with the voted PEPAL that the board has approved coming up in March. Then on Wednesday, we'll start with our prioritization committee. On Wednesday night, they'll begin reviewing these budget packages. And in those budget packages, you'll see that things are classified as core, categorical, and additional. Our core packages are things that either our board policy, Iowa code, our board policy or Iowa code require. And it might also be things that we have to have in order to function. So there's not Iowa code that says we have to have a custodian, or an Iowa code that says, or a board policy that says we have to have secretaries or a secretary, but without those positions, just the function and the running of our schools wouldn't be possible. The second type of package that you'll see is categorical, and those are tied directly to specific funding sources, such as preschool, such as homeschool, a range, several different categorical funds that have specific funding set aside for those. And then the third type of package is additional. And at the end of the committee work, it will be the committee's task to prioritize those additional packages. And so those are all of the packages that don't fit into core or don't have specific dedicated funding that's just specific to those, that provides the funding for those programs or those positions. Then as we move through kind of what the timeline looks like, this is just, again, moving that flow chart into dates. I will be back around in the buildings in person to share those results at the end of the month there between January 25th and the 30th. And then we'll bring all those results to the board as well in the work session so that they, like I said, can discuss and deliberate and ask the questions that they have and trying to help ultimately lead to this decision in February on the 19th that would result in kind of that final budget action. A couple of other things, just as I know our time is short and people are antsy to get home before the weather all moves in. I would direct you, we are building out this resource page on the website. And the way you get there, if you go into the website, just to the home page, hope it does it timely. It's right at the top and it'll say district budget information. Right here in the upper left-hand corner. And that will take you to the drop-down menu. So the resources that I've already shared with you, as well as some additional resources, this video will post there as well for staff members who were not able to attend at the building meetings last week or who haven't been able to jump in today, but this is kind of like your one-stop shop for everything that's happened up, all the information that's been shared up until this point, as well as we'll have some frequently asked questions and a place for people to submit questions as well. And I just want to, before we open it up to any questions that staff might have today, just want to reiterate that again, this was not how I envisioned the responsibilities of stepping into this interim superintendent role would be back in July. When I was stepping into that role, I really hoped to move forward and build on some positivity in the district and be able to contribute and build on the relationships that we've had and just move us forward in a consistent way. But as time quickly showed, as we were looking more and more into our financial health, the challenge is that with a reduction looming, it does really bring on that uncertainty, as I mentioned before, and that brings with it some feelings of fear and just not knowing what the future holds. So as long as we're in that mode, I really feel like the district is reactive. We're reacting to different funding, and hopefully in doing this and moving forward through this process, we can work back to being more proactive and continuing to build the best learning experiences, the best classroom experiences for our students day in and day out in a sustainable way. So I will stop the screen share, but I can pop that back up if people have questions specific to any of those resources. Also just wanted, to answer any questions that I could today. And if I don't have the answer today, I'll definitely get back to you with those when I can. So if you want to unmute, if you have a question, be happy to take those at this time. If after our quick meeting here today, a question does come up, I would encourage you to reach out by text, give me a call, shoot an email. If colleagues who weren't able to attend today see that you were here or conversations are happening in the buildings and a question comes up, really we just want to provide the information to staff to ease as many concerns as possible, to give you the information that you need to be informed, and to keep you updated with decisions as they're made. And just again, continue to reach out with those questions. And I hope you have your shovels ready or your snow blowers, and we'll keep everybody posted on what the schedule looks like for tomorrow as those decisions are made too. So just appreciate everybody's time today and get home safe and stay warm.